Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are with another episode of Fireside Chat with Misha Ahmad on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is an information sharing platform which involves our influencers who are heads and VPs of large companies. However, it's an honor for us in working and contributing to the world of knowledge economy by working with such people. So today we have Mr. Mohammed Furqan Karim Kidwai with us, who is co-founder and COO of Financial Services. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Misha, for the warm introduction, and it's been a pleasure and it's my honor to be a part of such prestigious forum.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time that you gave us. Sir, I'd like to start our session with little bit knowing about yourself, your educational background. How did you start, and how did you reach here?
Thank you, Misha, for the opportunity. So, primarily, I'm a computer science background. So, my major was in computer science, with minor was in mathematics. So, I was a third batch at Habib University in Karachi, Pakistan, where I had the opportunity to build up my technology background. Within that, my area of expertise were in data sciences. So, I was from the start of my computer science degree, I was always interested in data projects. I also had the opportunity to go to Stanford for a semester abroad, where I completed my data science certification. That was the time I had the opportunity to visit Pakistani entrepreneurs that are based in Silicon Valley, and there was a hell of an experience that I had learned from them. So, few of them were very inspiring for me, and there was a time that I thought of starting my venture of my own. So after coming back to Pakistan, I worked for with few banks, leading banks in Pakistan. I also worked as a financial analyst at Deloitte, where I used to do credit risk modeling for financial institutions. Again, my data science expertise were integrated towards the financial sector. Having said that, I started looking towards more uh, financial solutions that are technology driven and that have been technology driven over the globe, but not in Pakistan. So then I, along with my co-founder, came up with this idea of YPay Financial Services. And last year, the regulatory body, Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, launched their first ever regulatory sandbox. And there was a time we brainstormed a idea and pitched to the SECP that we want to build first regulated investor product in Pakistan. So YPay, if I sum up, is basically an investor product which allows regular people like us to invest into the capital markets of Pakistan without going to any asset management company physically or without doing any biometric. They can digitally open their accounts into the capital markets of Pakistan, into the mutual funds of Pakistan. So that was the goal, and that how we started. Luckily, we were successful in achieving our sandbox approval from the SCCP, and from then we have now at the end of our beta testing phase, and inshallah we will be going for a commercial launch.
Right, sir. Since you told us that you have this background with banking, IT, and all these things, I'd like to know that what was your vision and what are your goals till now that you want to achieve?
So my goals and vision are completely aligned with what YPay's vision and goals are. So basically, it's my vision and mission that has been translated into my company. So our goal is basically to onboard first time first time investors. So our goal is to onboard 1 million first time investors into the capital market by end of capital markets of Pakistan by end of 2023. So by saying that, I want to basically highlight some important facts. So currently, if you know that Pakistan's investment to GDP ratio is around 16%, and whereas world's average is 24%. Now, investment to GDP ratio is one of the most important, you could say, economic factors that highlights your country's growth in terms of capital markets and how much the population believes into the companies and into the capital markets of the country. So Pakistan has stuck to 16% for the last 2 decades. The highest that we have been able to achieve was around 22%. That was in 1960s. But after that, we never been able to even cross the world average. And if we compare us with our South Asian neighbors, Bangladesh is at 26%. Even India is at 25%. Uh, China is around 42%. Uh, Even African countries like Nigeria is around 25%. And that is unfortunately, Pakistan has around 16%, which is one of the lowest investment to GDP ratio in the world. And the two major reasons for that: A, the financial literacy, and B, the accessibility to the capital market. So we are not just an investor company, we are also an investor education company. Our target audience is first time investors that have never been introduced into the capital market. We basically financially literate them, and then we provide them a solution so that they can access the capital markets from their home, from their mobile phones at any time of convenience. So that is our goal. We want to bring 1 million first time investors into the capital markets of Pakistan by end of 2023.
Right, sir. So, as you mentioned, that your vision is to, literate people with these financial accessibilities and the ease they can have from it. What do you think about? I'd like to know your opinion on how do you think the future of this fintech in Pakistan?
So yeah, so Pakistan's fintech industry is right at the same point where Middle East and India's fintech industry used to be 10 years ago. So we saw that this region, MENA region, saw great potential towards fintech sector for the last decade. And unfortunately, Pakistan was not able to be a part of it. But right now, this is the right time since the regulatory policies have been changed. The policies, new policies have been introduced. There has been some relaxation from the FATF side. We are going digital in terms of our economy and in terms of our as a whole community. So I believe this is the right time for Pakistan's fintech industry to boost, and we have already seen huge investments in this industry in the last few years. And the whatever whatever expert you will talk, whoever expert you will talk about, they will say that within the next 5 years, Pakistan's fintech industry is going to be one of the leading major fintech industries in the world. As you already know that we are the most fifth most populous country in the world, and I think we have huge potential within our country as well as to expand globally as well. So I think Pakistan's fintech industry is one thing that you have to keep an eye on for the next 5 years.
Right. That's good to know from you. Further, I'd like to know that as you said that the YPay is working with this financial services to people. I'd like to know some of the things that you might like to share. That how can you enable people to literate about these things? How can they have access to these financial services?
Yeah, that's a very, I would say, a very good question in a sense that we always talk about financial literacy and we always talk about bringing more people towards the banking sector and towards the investment sector, but we don't try to reach out to them through their medium. So when we talk about our mass population is primarily youth, and which is basically residing on digitally and especially on the social media platform. So if we don't talk to them, communicate to them through their medium, we would never be able to basically financially educate them, and we won't be able to convert them into our capital market audience. So YPay has been very successful in terms of spending its financial literacy program. We reached out a huge number of audience to a social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. We're also trying to open a YouTube channel so that we can more communicate with our audience. And I think that is the way. That is the way, and that is the medium on which the asset management companies and the financial sector need to invest in. So they have started approaching these social media platforms now, but they in the past they've been trying through conventional ways, through messaging, mass messaging, through calling, and through conventional methods. But that was not the way to communicate with this type of audience, with this generation. So banks have now introduced their social media platforms. They have also introduced customer support on WhatsApp. So they are now looking into ways and into the mediums that masses population uses on a daily basis. And I think there's huge potential out of it. And I think we are already up for it. So in the last few quarters, we have seen growth into the capital markets, not just in capital market, but in terms of bank opening, in terms of digital account opening, in terms of digitalization of the economy. So we have seen growth in the past few quarters. That is a clear sign that this medium is going to help us in the future in spreading the word out.
Right. That's very interesting to know. So I'd like to know that what do you think that how government can take some steps for help in the fintech industry?
Mhm. So yeah, again, this is a very critical question in a sense that if you see globally, uh, regulatory sandbox are something that are happening all over the world, whether it be London, whether it be Delhi, whether it be Singapore, any developed country you see around the globe, they have been introducing regulatory policies. They have been introducing regulatory sandbox, experiment sandbox, so that new ideas can come up, new innovative ideas can come in, and they can work with the regulators and introduce new policies so that they can boost up their economy. So in Pakistan, unfortunately, primarily due to the restrictions from FATF, globally restrictions on Pakistani regulators, that was the main reason, and we were not proactively thinking of these sandbox and these experiments. So now, last year, the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, one of the biggest regulator in Pakistan, have introduced their regulatory sandbox, which had very positive outcomes. And I think State Bank is also about to launch their first ever regulatory sandbox. So with these sandbox, I think there is huge potential of bringing new innovative ideas and regulatory policies into the market, which will enable market players to boost up the economy of the country. So I think the government is late in coming in deciding this, but they have already taken steps, and I think we should appreciate what they have done in the past few years. And I think they are on the right track. And if we keep doing it this way, there will be very prosperous results in the next 5 years or 10 years down the road.
Right. That's very good to know from you. I'd like to know your opinion on since we see that there are very a lot of startups coming in the market, right? So how do you see startups in Pakistan?
Mhm. Yeah, the one best thing about startup is globally and even in Pakistan is that the quality of a startup, which I believe is that they can pivot at a very rapid pace and they can scale at a very rapid pace, which a conventional business could not do or cannot do given the limited resources. So we have seen few examples in Pakistan. So Airlift started as a ride-hailing company. But after COVID hit, they were in serious losses. So they pivoted their business model towards online delivery app, and now you can see they are expanding globally. So this is one great example of how startups can quickly pivot their business models and how quickly they can scale to larger markets. So that is the best part of a startup and why startups are encouraged all over the world, whether it be US or UK. So in Pakistan, you can also see the facts that in 2021, Pakistan is the third, or you could say almost third or fourth nation in terms of capital raise through venture capitals for startups in the MENA region. And that is a clear sign that startups in Pakistan have a huge potential to compete with the global competitors, not just global competitor, but also the regional competitors. So Pakistan itself has the sixth or fifth most populous country, and having said that, giving that potential, you could easily scale to global markets. So startups in Pakistan, I think, will play, are playing, and will play a huge role in getting the positive outlook of the economy. So recently, an investment of $85 million in one of the startups in Pakistan is a clear symbol that even Pakistan can have huge funding rounds within the country, and we could produce multiple unicorns within our regions. So India has already done that, and Pakistan is on the verge of doing that. If we are able to do it, then I there is no stop for startups in Pakistan. There will be huge influx in the coming years. So that's my outlook on the startup arena in Pakistan.
Right. Well, that's very nice talking to you about startup especially and all these things that you've told us about YPay financial services. Moving towards our ending of this session, I'd like to know your thoughts on forums like CxO.
So I think these forums are very important in terms of building a community. So nothing can be achieved without a community. So you see, when we started off in a startup arena, so we saw some incubators coming in, like Nest.io, National Incubation Center. The main purpose of those incubation centers and acceleration centers were to build a community of startups, so that like-minded individuals can come together, and they can share ideas. They can come up with a better idea when discussed among themselves. So I think community building is plays a huge part in bringing successes. So CxO Global Forum again is building a huge community of great like-minded individuals who think and who can produce something more beneficial when their minds are combined. So I think these communities play a huge part in building up the in building up the successes, as well as building up the community. So I think nothing can be said more about the importance of this forum, and it's an honor for me to be a part of this forum, and I look forward to be to part of it for the next coming months.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for your kind and wise words. With that, I'd like to end our session. And ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank Mr. Furqan once again for his precious time. And with that, we'll be ending our today's session. If you want to know anything, any work that Mr. Furqan is doing, you can visit their profile. Also, you can comment down in the comment section. For next session, we'd like to say goodbye till then. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.